Nearly 8 minutes past 7 to our top story this morning. A Kent woman who's dying from cancer and suffered failings in her care is welcoming an official ruling that the two hospital trusts which treated her failed to investigate her complaints properly. 50-year-old Debbie Westwick from Harbledown near Canterbury was given radiotherapy when she needed surgery, and when she eventually had surgery, not all the cancers were removed. She sued and won damages from the Maidstone and Tunbridge Wells NHS Trust and the East Kent Hospitals University Foundation Trust, which provided her surgery. Speaking last year, she spoke of the poor treatment she'd received.
But I did expect the clinician looking after me to be competent and to provide me with the most effective treatment that was available, and to discover along the way that your treatment has been poor or suboptimal is like being diagnosed all over again.
She was so concerned other patients may have had inadequate treatment too. She continued to raise complaints and concerns, complaints which the health watchdog has now endorsed. Debbie is sadly too ill to talk to us this morning, but her solicitor, Nick Fairweather, joins me now. Nick, good morning to you.
Good morning, John.
First of all, a lot of people would have given up once they'd won the case for compensation, but Debbie is made of sterner stuff, I think.
Yes, absolutely. And Debbie is actually a nurse at the East Kent Trust, so it's particularly a matter of importance to her that once her case was dealt with in terms of just the compensation, that she saw through the complaints process, which the PHSO decision has brought to fruition now.
Yeah, so just to sum up, basically, she won compensation because her treatment was poor, and then she has now been endorsed by this report that her complaint that her treatment was poor was not dealt with properly by the trust.
Yes, absolutely.
And what did they do? Why didn't they deal with it properly?
Well, the PHSO has recognised three things really. Firstly, that once Debbie had an initial lumpectomy to try and remove the tumour, there was residual tumour left, and she had chemotherapy, but then she had radiotherapy to the breast even though it was going to be removed. That was the first thing. The second thing was that she had lymph nodes that were infected when they sampled her axilla following the first operation, and that was just left and nothing was dealt with.
But that was all about the bad treatment. What I'm saying is what happened when she made a complaint that her treatment, how did they deal with that complaint? Because that's what the Ombudsman is now saying they didn't do properly.
Well, the Ombudsman is recognising the clinical deficiencies in the case, but also recognising and terming as maladministration, which is a really serious finding against both trusts, the fact that they absolutely stonewalled and didn't deal with over a period of 2 years, or the best part of 2 years, the complaints that she raised. And what we were saying is, look, this is a very, very serious matter. Debbie may have been compensated, but there are systemic failings in your breast cancer treatment.
Didn't one of the trusts so basically look at its own procedures itself and decide it was okay?
The Maidstone Trust in particular, you see, the East Kent Trust was responsible for the surgical input, and the Maidstone Trust was responsible for the cancer, the oncology input. And the Maidstone Trust in particular just kept saying all is well, all is fine, and they had her treatment reviewed by their director of cancer, who said it was fine. They they went and got what purported to be an independent review of the treatment as well. So the Maidstone Trust in particular, I have to say, seems to be in institutional denial that anything went wrong.
Have they admitted it yet? Have they said, actually, now the Ombudsman's come up with this, we admit that the way we looked at your complaint was inadequate? Have they said that?
Well, no. I mean, the Ombudsman has asked the both trusts to write a letter of apology to Debbie, but I mean that's going to be a rather hollow experience to receive that apology, because we pushed and pushed and pushed for 2 years for them to take notice of this, and if now they're forced to send a letter of apology by the PHSO, it's not going to be a particularly resounding thing for. And
Nick, I wonder if sometimes trusts are reluctant to do that, because is there a case that they could end up paying out more compensation once they'd admitted that the way they investigate complaints isn't good enough. Is that a compensation issue?
No, absolutely, absolutely not. I mean, Debbie's case was settled. The clinical case was settled, and that was.
So this wasn't going to cost them money. They just had to admit they didn't do it properly.
Well, yes, and to recognise that and take steps to put their house in order, and that's what's really concerning about this. They had no interest in putting steps in place to remedy the failings in Debbie's case, and that's what's really concerning. And you know, you're quite right. The Maidstone Trust still hasn't acknowledged it's done anything wrong in this case, and that's a real concern.
Nick Fairweather, thank you very much indeed.